Yo, what's good, Spirit Squad? What's good, everybody else? It's your boy Dre. We are here to talk about something that we have not had the ability to talk about for 2 full weeks, and that's gonna be the modern metagame. Now, we've had a lot of speculation happening. We've got some people talking about what's been going on in tournaments through, all of the regular talking outlets. So, YouTube, Twitter, Discord, Twitch, all the normal stuff that you would expect people to be discussing Magic on. But we've actually had no hard data directly from Wizards of the Coast, and now finally we do. So they seem to have had some technological bug that told us, hey, we're not able to give you guys results, so we don't really know what's winning, etc., etc. So we were left to our own devices to try to compile all of this data through Twitter, through Discord, through YouTube, through Twitch, just to kind of maybe find out what's winning and kind of do our best from there. But now we actually have hard data to go off of again. Everything is fixed and we have data dumps and life is okay again. Hooray! So now we actually get to do things like going over the goldfish pages, seeing what's winning. We get to check out things like the top 8 results from all of the 5-0 league results, from the modern challenges, from the PTQs, even from like the NRG tournament series that just happened. Like, a whole lot of magic has happened in the last 2 weeks, and as silly as it sounds to say out loud, 2 weeks is a really long time for modern. Like, this format moves stupid fast. Y'all remember last month when people were like, oh hey, I had on Friday this list for a Tybalt's Trickery combo, and a day and a half later that list was already outdated. This game moves stupid fast, so 2 weeks is basically an eternity if you're trying to keep up with competitive Magic. But problem solved, life is good again. So we're going to get to check out what the metagame looks like, and I've got some pleasant news. It is really diverse. We do have a couple of, I guess, bad guys at the top of the meta or whatever. But other than that, life is actually pretty interesting. You can reasonably play a pretty big tournament, say it's 8 rounds, and expect to actually fight 7 or 8 different decks. Check this out. So we're just going to slide over to a little screenshot that we got to grab of what the top of the meta looks like, and Jund Death Shadow is actually at the top of the meta. So this is going to be the version with like Tarmogoyf, Scourge of Skyclave, Shadow, Lurrus as a companion. All of those pieces are in all of those lists, and it's really streamlined. It's great. But even that deck only has 6% of the overall meta, and that's the top of the meta, which tells us that this format is extremely diverse. We're going to see a lot of different decks across it, and in my opinion, it's pretty damn healthy. Even if there are some ultra powerful things going on, I think that's fine. The second most played deck here is going to be the one that most people probably expect it to be at the top, and that's going to be Heliod Company. So this deck also has roughly 6% of the metagame, so it's about the same as Jund Death Shadow. Words are hard. But even that's still only 6% of the meta. So if you play, say, 6 to 10 leagues, mathematically you're only going to fight this deck like 2 or 3 times. Not necessarily that's how it's going to work in practice, because remember, all of the things that we're seeing are only the winning part of the metagame, not the overall part of the metagame. And that's going to bring us to our next deck, Tron. So Tron is only 4% of the winning metagame, which is a thing. Usually Tron takes up much less of the meta, so I'm actually a little happy to see it kind of overperforming, if you will. But even if it's only doing 4% of the winning, I see Tron everywhere. So, for example, I just played a league the other day. Today is Tuesday. Today is Tuesday. So, it must have been Saturday that I played this league. And out of the 5 rounds, I fought Tron 3 times. And I also played a preliminary event last week. These prelims only go for 4 rounds now instead of 5. And in 4 rounds, the first 3 were all Tron variants. Like, the deck is everywhere. So even if it's only doing 4% of the winning, just make sure you're ready for it. And next up, we've got some more format staples. We've got Amulet Titan, we've got Blue-White Control, we've got Burn, Death and Taxes, Jund, Blue-Red Prowess, all of your usual suspects, right? But even after that, notice that Prowess and Dredge only have 3.2 and 2.2% of the meta overall, even though most people will agree that these are really popular, powerful decks. And that shows the diversity of this format. I think it's in a really healthy place. And even our next up decks here, we're going to have Hammer Time at 2%, my personal favorite, Spirits, at another 2%, but then like Infect and Mill are next up in line at almost 2% of the meta apiece. And let's be real, unless you're the ones playing Infect or Mill, how often are you seeing these decks? So that's just a big tell of just how diverse this format really is, in my opinion. And we can even slide over to the next page here. So we'll see things like Eldrazi-tron, okay, so this is not black, red, green Stoneblade. That's not what's happening here. So this is actually a Mardu Stoneblade list. So it's black, white, red. And if anybody's been able to see what's going down on the Mana Trader series, this is actually the deck that won that tournament last month. So it's going to have Stoneforge Mystic, Seasoned Pyromancer, Liliana of the Veil. It's basically a Jund deck, but you get to play Stoneforge Mystic and Skyclave Apparition if you want to, instead of green cards. So that's kind of the trade-off that you have there. Like, it plays Lingering Souls and stuff. It looks a lot like the Mardu Pyromancer deck from a few years ago, but you're not trying to play like a Pyromancer plane. You just get to play Seasoned Pyromancer and other cards that are all wild powerful on their own. But even from there, you'll see just how hard the drop-off is from decks you recognize and have known for years to decks that you would really think of as being out of the limelight. So now we'll get to the territory of like mono-red prowess, which other than exactly M. Hayashi, how many people do you see playing that? We'll see Slivers, Bogles, 4-color control with Omnath, Storm. How often are you really seeing these decks on a regular basis? So we'll see just how diverse this format really is getting. And like, you'll see, like look at this. There's another prowess list, which whatever, Monastery Swiss Spears everywhere. But we'll see like Yorion with Bring to Light. We'll see Scape Shift, but this is the Scape Shift with blue cards like Cryptic Command. We'll see Esper Control, blue-red control decks, and these include like all your Blood Moon piles and stuff. Grixis, Death Shadow, Hardened Scales. How often are you people actually seeing these decks? So this format is crazy diverse. It's all over the place, and I think it's a pretty good time. But now I'm glad to just, be able to show everybody just hard data as to exactly what's going on in this format. And now that we have some hard data, what we pulled up here is just going to be a real quick example of what we actually have from just today's Modern Leagues, today being the 23rd. And we'll see that there's just a bunch of stuff happening here. So look at all of these decks that people are playing. So many people are playing Modern, enough to have this many 5-0 lists in the same day, and the decks are everywhere, right? So like this one is just like a black-white mid-range deck, like I said, with Stoneforge, with Skyclave, no really need for other creatures. And this is just like a old Dead Guy Ale deck, but you don't have to play Dark Confidant anymore. You have like, what is this, a snow control deck probably? It's $1,300. That is what it is. Okay, yeah, so it's like Ice Fang Coatl, a Lurrus deck, but $1,300 because you get to play like all of the expensive Jundy type stuff at the same time. And somebody 5-0 with this. So like, what mono green? Is this Tron? Oh no, it is just Amulet Titan, but with Karn the Great Creator as a 4-of. So like, you get, the format's all over the place. You get to do basically whatever you want to do, you can do right now. And oh, this is the Ad Nauseam deck, which is really just Inverter of Truth combo now. So like, that's 5-0ing tournaments. And this person played 3 Eldrazi Temples in a leveler with this. Wow, this is actually really sweet looking in Old Border. I like that. But like, you can do whatever you want. Like, 3 Eldrazi Temples with just Inverter of Truth as your creatures? I think that's wild. But that just speaks to the depth of this format, that you can really do whatever the hell you want right now. And that's actually exactly what I like to see in a Modern format, because that's kind of the whole point of this format, is that people can play whatever they want, have fun, brew around, play with numbers on their lists. Is this White-Red Prison? It's not, it's just Prowess. Okay. I was definitely expecting that to be like some pile with Blood Moons and Cascading Cataracts and stuff, and I was gonna side-eye it, not gonna lie, but this is just Prowess with white cards in the board. Okay, fine. So that's enough of me ripping on people. But so good job to that pilot. But we've got a lot of stuff happening here. And this is just like a quick celebration of just how deep this format is, that we actually have hard data to go off of again. And if you are interested in seeing something like, I don't know, like another tier list, now that we actually have data to go off of, let me know in the comments, and we'll go over all of the decks that are existent in the meta now that we've seen what people are playing, we've seen what people can adjust for, what they can plan to fight, and all of that good stuff, so that we can actually see what I think are going to be the best placed decks in the meta. And as always, if you like what you're watching, just make sure to click the like button on this video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see y'all on the next one.